Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Going for Three podcast, episode number 27. I am one of your hosts, Tony Farr, aka G, aka Gramps Bayless when I'm in a bad mood. With me, as always, are Percy Thomas, aka PTP, and Chris Collins, aka the AOB, the Advocate of Buckets. How are we doing, gentlemen?
I'm good, man. Good. I just want to let the people know that, buckets doesn't just have to be limited to basketball. You know what I mean? Buckets is a mentality.
Ah,
Yes,
It's a
in
way of
said sport.
life.
Exactly. So, you could be on the pitch, you could be on the field getting buckets, you know?
it's
I
fair.
want that.
Be on the ice rink, getting buckets. It's everywhere.
I don't want to talk about hockey.
On the tennis court. Getting buckets.
You're avoiding hockey.
On this one.
Well, my Warriors were in the conference finals and they gave up 8 goals in game one, so I don't want to talk about hockey.
Mm.
They scored 6, but gave up 8. But anyway. All right, so let's get right into it. The NBA, as of the recording of this episode, the NBA Finals begin tonight. The Golden State Warriors versus the Boston Celtics. But let's get to how they got there. The Warriors beat the Mavericks. I wouldn't say handily, but they beat them in tidy fashion, 4-1, with Steph Curry being the inaugural Magic Johnson Conference Finals MVP. We can get into that thing if we want. And the Celtics winning on the road in Game 7 against the Miami Heat, taking the series 4-3, with Jason Tatum being the inaugural Larry Bird Eastern Conference Finals MVP. So, gentlemen, what do we think about the conference finals?
Well, you definitely gave the Mavericks more respect than they probably deserve as far as the outcome of the series. They got clapped. A gentleman's sweep is damn near domination.
They definitely got bodied.
I said tidy. I guess it was tidy. I said it. I thought it was as about as respectful as necessary. It was tidy. I figured they'd get one. Honestly, I didn't.
A gentleman's sweep is just that. You know,
Yeah.
it's just respectable enough to say you ain't get clapped completely, but they got handled for sure.
Yep.
You know, they were overachieving. They were an overachieving team the entire time. We know they were only there because one team kind of shit the bed and didn't handle their business. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Learning experience for sure.
It was definitely a pit stop for Golden State, more or less. They had a scare at the beginning. They had a little bit of a scare, but other than that, there was no reason for them to be there at all.
No, there's certainly a narrative that Golden State, you could say, had a easy road to the finals.
I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, there is no easy road.
Well, I mean,
it
Yeah.
to the other side, it's probably less treacherous, but
I mean, because in every series they played in, they've had a moment where in the series it was getting out of hand. Like the Nuggets series, Jokic started to go crazy.
It can't. Series can't get out of hand if you're beating teams in 5 games.
They're beating him in 5, but I mean,
there's never any cause of concern if you never even get past two wins. I mean, the games can be close, but I mean, shit, you're not pulling out more than one win in a series. Not close.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, I see it as like there's times in the series where you could look at it and be like, okay, Warriors have potential to not look like they're not taking it seriously. Eventually, they still win in 5, but there were certain points where you could say they might not have taken it seriously as they should have.
I mean, that's fair, but that's kind of been their MO for years. Not as much now, but like especially when they had Kevin Durant, they just felt like they could turn it on whenever.
Yeah, like Clay.
Blow teams out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying because of the player. I'm saying because of the level of talent. I mean, I wouldn't say that team is more talented. They're more well balanced for sure. They're not top end. They're not top end as talented as when they had KD. But I mean, I do think the road was like I said, less treacherous. You know, Ja did get hurt. That was their most competitive series. But the other team, no one wants to talk about this at all. The other team got so many injury breaks, but we'll talk about that when we get there. They deserve to be there, and there are breaks and luck that go along with every championship. But let's keep the context and consistency the same when we discuss these things because they benefited greatly as well. That's all I'm saying.
Mm.
Yeah.
I know Gramps doesn't want to hear it, but their main guys, and when I say main guys, I mean the two were nice and healthy. And I can't say that for the last two teams that they played.
Well, that specific team you're mentioning had important players injured as well and missed some time. So it's not like they were.
But that doesn't change the fact of what I said as far as the top two. It's just, that's just facts. It's not taking anything away.
Yeah.
But when we talk about each specific finals team's road to the finals, yes, Golden State might have played lesser competition, but in the grand scheme they played healthier teams.
Yeah. They played two healthier teams.
Nuggets
been good since last year, so that's how the equation. Like everybody knows about that, though.
I mean, but that was something that they were dealing with all year. They knew that they were used to.
Yeah, but they were good since last year. So
losing Chris Middleton right before that series is dramatic. Losing Tyler Hero for a pivotal game and him coming back kind of hobbled, or Jimmy Butler being a shell of himself because of a knee injury for 2 games. That's not something that teams are accustomed to adjusting to on the fly like that.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, do I think? I mean, it's a toss up as far as whether I think the Celtics could have beat those teams healthy. Well, actually, I take that for the Bucks. I personally think if Jimmy Butler was healthy, I don't think the Celtics would have won. At least for those 2 games. That's just me, though.
Well, I mean, Jimmy scored 72 points the last 2 games. How bad was he?
No, he was good. He got adjusted those last 2 games, but the 2 games before that. Let's not act like let's not act like games 4 and 5 he didn't have 8 and 9 points and he didn't look like he could even move or had lift.
Yeah, because there's a statistic where they said it. I think I don't know if it's the game before the last one that they lost, or actually it might have been that game that they lost. That was the series decider. He had more points at halftime than he did in the last 2 games.
Last 2 games.
Yeah, the last 2 games combined.
He wasn't supposed to play game 4 at all. Yeah. Like the reports is he's gonna try to manage through it, and he's on the court.
Well, that just proves Miami needs another guy who can score.
Oh, absolutely.
Because really nobody on the team did much scoring in games 4 and 5.
I mean, no, they did not.
I mean, but both their scores were hurt. Butler's hobbled and Hero was out for an extended period of time.
Even more so. I mean, I like Tyler, and I think he would have definitely made a difference. And we could be talking completely differently about this if they won. But I agree with Gramps. I think they definitely need another guy. Especially if Tyler's going to be if Tyler's going to be your 6th man, which it seems like that's what they want him to be, they need another guy. And I mean, unfortunately, right now I know he's still very young, but Bam is not capable of being the second guy consistently for whatever reason, whether it's aggressiveness, mentality, which in my opinion it has to be because he has the talent. He's athletic. He can handle the ball for a big. He got a decent mid-range shot. He's smart. He's a good finisher. He has the tools, but there are just games where he's just ineffective. And I don't know how much of that was Robin Williams. I know he did a good job on him, but I don't know. You as a second guy, I shouldn't be worried about the other defense just completely shutting you out. If you're the second option on a championship level team. So I personally think it's probably not gonna happen, of course, but I would love Donovan Mitchell with the Heat.
Yeah.
And they could do it if they wanted to.
If
I don't know how often Miami is used to doing. They don't do stuff like that, but I would take Donovan Mitchell in that Heat system probably over the other two wings that come to mind, in Levine and Beal, just because of Donovan Mitchell's defensive like prowess potential. You know what I mean? Like it's there. You put I feel like you put him. I mean, you put all three of them. If they buy into that Heat culture, they're gonna turn into good to plus defenders, or at least average.
Yeah.
Not to say that they aren't
individually. Yeah. Like I said, like if any of the three get in, I feel like that's why I feel like Levine is probably someone that I would have looked at for them to fill the hole. And because like Donovan has the prowess, but at the same time, it's like when he first got to the league, he was a two-way player. Over the course of his next few seasons, he kind of like it's still there, like you said, but he kind of he's bought into the bucket mentality, to me at least.
That's only because of offensive responsibility, and basically, not to say that the Jazz don't coach hard or things like that, but the Miami Heat is a different animal. That's a different situation. If you don't buy in, you're not going to play. It's a different level of accountability. So if they buy in, you're going to play defense.
Yeah. To
the best of your ability. And I think his tools are better for sure than Bradley Beal's, in my opinion. I think don't get me wrong, I think Zach could be good as well, but I just like I like the idea of Mitchell with Miami more. I do think that all three of them are dogs for sure, but I don't know. I'll take Donovan Mitchell, the guy I saw dropping 50 in the playoffs. Brad has had some playoff struggles for sure, and then this was Zach's first go around.
Yeah, I think Zach was even hobbled too, from what I remember.
Yeah, I think I just like I like Donovan's play style to fit more of the Heat. I think he attacks the rim and is the most aggressive as far as playing downhill out of the three, with like Zach LaVine, in my opinion, being the least. Now, granted, that's definitely biased because of the changes in his play this year, playing with DeMar DeRozan and adjusting to that. But I just like Donovan's play style fitting Miami more so.
Yeah, I mean, from the perspective of like LaVine going from like his Timberwolves days, where he was kind of more or less known as the downhill player, and he was trying to sprinkle in the three. In Chicago, he's fallen in love with his shot a lot more. So that aspect of his game is still there, but it's very much hidden. Mitchell has found that good balance between downhill slashing and still being able to pull from a variety of ranges. So,
do you think that Zach LaVine was ever the slasher, just like the aggressive? I'm searching for contact. I'm gonna like impose my physicality on you, no matter my size. Have you ever felt he's been that player? I know he's a high flyer.
I wouldn't say like I say he's like a Derrick Jones. Like Derrick Jones can get to the cup, but he's not like he said, like he's not like a physical going over the top type of player. But he played at the rim a lot in his first 2 years in the league, from what I remembered.
Give me D Mitch. Give me Spider in Miami. Like I said, it's not gonna happen though.
Yeah.
I mean,
crazy things have happened.
Can't say no. Trader Danny's running the show there. Did you say really they won't?
I mean, when was you said for the Jazz?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, that's for the Jazz, but like Miami still has to, there's another half to this trade, and they don't usually do stuff like that. But I don't know. We'll see if and when they make moves in the offseason. I mean, if they don't make moves, I mean they are completely within their own, I guess, logic to keep put, or to stay put, I should say. I mean, they were in the game 7 of the conference finals, basically a shot away, honestly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I wouldn't blame them if they felt like they want to run it back, if they anticipate Bam getting better, Tyler Hero getting better, and that's a fair assumption. They're both very young. I think they're both under. Bam's 23, and Tyler's got to be younger than that. So
Yeah, Tyler's got to be at least 21, 22, I believe.
yeah. So I mean, it's not a, like I said, it's not a bad assumption. I would want to maximize the older players that we have right now. I mean, obviously Jimmy's not getting any younger. Kyle is old as dirt. I don't know exactly how old that dirt is, but he's old as dirt. Um, and they signed him to a 3-year deal. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to maximize what I have. Obviously, without mortgaging too much of my future, of course. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Because if anything, at the end of that, at certain points in the series, Gabe Vincent looked a lot more like a starting PG than Kyle Lowry, just because Gabe was he was slashing, he was shooting, had I think he had a game like a really good game in that series as well. If they were to get like a secondary player, it opens up a lot more like bench wise. Because I mean, if anything, Lowry and Hero off the bench doesn't seem like that bad of a situation. Even though Lowry could potentially be in a deal.
I wouldn't bring Lowry off the bench though. I don't think he packs enough scoring punch to justify it, and I don't think his playmaking ability, although it's good, I wouldn't put it on a level of like a Rondo or anything like that. I just don't think him coming off the bench would spark enough.
Yeah.
And at this stage of his career, he's not gonna just come in and give you like buckets. Like there was a time a couple years ago, like that option could have been an option, but like or even maybe like I would say like right now, I think Fred VanVleet. Well, not even right now. I think Fred VanVleet is probably a better offensive player right now than Kyle Lowry has ever been.
Oh, most
Like
definitely.
Fred could come off the bench on any team if need be and give you that explosive, scoring. I just don't see that with Kyle half the time because I don't think Kyle's even aggressively looking for his shot, especially anymore. A lot of times he's just looking for fouls. If he's not shooting a 3, he's looking for a foul.
He's looking for charges. Honestly, we keep it in the stack.
It's just facts. Like there was a play in the game. I think it was game 6. Yeah, where they had got away from Jimmy for a couple possessions, and he drove the ball, and I want to say it might have been a foul on Jaylen Brown. I want to say, but either way, like Kyle went up, wasn't even looking for a shot. He literally jumped up into the defender, never looked for a shot. He's like, I don't know. He's just not that. He's not that guy. So he can be a good 3 to 4 option, in my opinion, on a championship team. That's what he was on his championship team. It was Kawhi, Pascal, Kyle. But if they're number 2, Bam or Tyler, who was hurt, so we don't know. But if those guys aren't going to solidify themselves, it's like, hey, this is the number 2 option. This is like, then it makes it harder for Kyle. Kyle has to outperform his role.
Yeah. I mean, with Tyler, it's like people kind of counted out the bubble year, which he played phenomenal. Because the year after that, he kind of had a slump when they actually were playing in arenas again.
Yeah.
But
He had a year.
Yeah, I feel like him fully healthy this year, him being fully healthy at certain points of this season, it showed that he could be that number 2, which is kind of why I don't see him as like a 6-man. Honestly, I kind of would have him starting over a Strus or a Duncan, but I mean they want to balance out the shooting, so I understand.
I gotta see it, man. I gotta see it. Although I think he's very, very good offensively. I just gotta see it. There are some times where I feel like I don't think that he really could be a starter. I gotta see it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. To me, I feel like it's there, which is why it's hard for me to see what they would do because I just like I like Duncan and I like Strus, but I just don't see them as starters.
Maybe Duncan's time is up. He needs to go.
Yeah.
Seriously, that was a bad contract. It's only, in my opinion, going to get worse. You can't be paying a guy $90 million in him and he not be playing like DMPs. So he's got to go.
Yeah, but that comes down to Spo. Because I mean, obviously in that series, like Duncan's gonna get ate up, so that's probably why he didn't get any play time. So
And if he's not making shots, he is literally useless because he won't take another shot. Like he won't take let's say there's an aggressive closeout. He's not gonna be one of those guys that takes a dribble in and maybe shoots a midi, maybe tries to drive. That's not his game, and he does. And I don't think he has that in his game, even on a lesser level. So if he's not making threes, bro, it is a negative.
yeah.
And he wasn't.
What you up?
I said, and he wasn't making threes, so that's why he wasn't playing. I mean,
Hmm. All right, just for hypothetical, who would be? I know you brought up Spider, but who would be the ideal number 2 to Jimmy? Would it be him?
yeah, I think so. I think because as much as Jimmy can do it, we've seen him do it. He only likes to do it, in my opinion, like when it's absolutely needed. Like Jimmy, I don't think Jimmy wants to do that consistently. I think Jimmy likes to he likes to play within the flow of the game, create a little bit, score a little bit, score in the flow, of the offense, cuts, here and there, maybe a couple post ups and isos here and there, but like I don't think that's how Jimmy likes to play basketball. I don't think it ever has been historically, like he's had the talent and the skill for a while now as he's developed his game, but he just doesn't like to play like that. I think getting somebody who is just a relentless offensive bucket on multiple different levels, what I think would be a good option personally. That's why I said Donovan Mitchell. I think he probably is the most aggressive driver downhill. He can. I mean, obviously they can all three of them shoot, but I like the idea of that a little more. Brad ideally is not bad either. For that same reason, I think he's aggressive on all three levels as well. But he's had some struggles in the playoffs. I'm not as sold on his defensive ability as I am Donovan Mitchell. And as far as Zach LaVine, although I think he's probably better suited to play off ball out of all three of them. I don't think that's what the Heat necessarily even need. Like they need somebody who's going to command the ball and score with a Jimmy.
I agree.
So I mean, and I just feel like I don't know. Zach LaVine, like I said before, he's a dog, but I don't see that fit in Miami, just from a play style perspective, to be honest. But I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I mean, all three of them are scoring kings.
I mean, as far as like shooting goes, because they don't take a lot of threes.
He takes a lot of threes.
LaVine is falling in love with his jump shot.
I mean, for good reason. It is money.
Yeah, but so like he hits, but there's like he's in a situation where it's like if he's not hitting, it's kind of like Duncan. Like obviously he still has such ability, but he has such big in his pocket. But like but when they played the Bucks and his shot wasn't falling, what happened?
We're not gonna do this. That's not even close to the same thing. We're talking about a 3-level scorer and a guy who was a D3 player and just shoots the three and has no other skill on an elite NBA basketball court. You're comparing him to an all-star.
I gotta play this.
And you're comparing the defenses. Like yeah, he's playing they're playing the Celtics, which is a great defense, but it's a different type of defense with Milwaukee. It's big trees. Like, what is he gonna do? you want to drive with Giannis and Brook down there? He can try. It didn't go too well.
I'm saying if he's a 3-level scorer, then he should have taken it to the other 2 levels. He stayed at 1 level.
So he averaged 0 points the whole the series.
I didn't say he averaged 0 points. but
He didn't.
but
That's what I'm saying. He was scoring.
yeah, but most of them can't. Like most of them can't. Like once he realized that he had the other two levels in the later games, it was over by then. But
No, it was never a series. You're making it sound like that just because you making it sound like he fell in love with a 3-point shot and that's why they lost. Like they weren't gonna win.
Wait, am I implied? I never implied that was why they lost the series. I'm just saying if you're a 3-level scorer, whether you win or lose, it should have shown in the play of the 3-level scoring. I seen him play at 1 level for the majority of the series.
I disagree greatly, but I mean that's fine. We've seen 3-level scorers and the rest of the other in the playoffs struggle in the same way. KD's a 3-level scorer. He couldn't get to the rim. He was literally relegated to operating in that second level, honestly, and he's missing a lot of those shots.
Yeah, I mean, also with KD, he was getting tripled at certain points in the series. I expected it out of Kevin Durant as far as to struggle to get to all 3 levels, but it was granted the Bucks are a very good defensive team. If I'm Levine, eventually you would have expected to see more from every level outside of like fast breaks, to me at least.
I feel like we saw different things, but that's okay. For me to answer Graham's question, though, like I said, I would go with Donovan Mitchell. I think he would be the perfect fit.
I can see it. I don't see a trade, but you never know. Trader Danny has made some trades happen. So,
they're both available for sure. No matter what, I don't care. They could come out tomorrow and say we're not trading either of them, and I wouldn't care. They're both available.
Yeah.
When you have that type of core and you're not winning past first, second rounds, and the way you're losing is in disappointing fashion, blowing 3-1 leads, losing to teams without Luka, like they're available if it's for the right deal, of course. So, he's available. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Any other thoughts on the conference finals? What?
I'm good.
I mean, not particularly. Yeah, I think we touched a lot on stuff. I mean, we didn't talk too much about the Celtics, but I mean, I feel like that would be for you. I don't want to take your shine away.
That is true.
I'm just happy they're there, and I worry about their late game ball management and play calling because it seems to be a pattern. I think I've mentioned it before. Losing playing terrible basketball for 1/4 of a game and not being able to dig out of it.
Yeah, I hope you know that's never going to change. Your late game play on how they're playing, it's only going to get worse. As Jalen and Jason establish themselves more, that's what it's going to be. Oh.
Well, I can hope not.
I mean, this is how they're going to play, especially Jason. Jason want to be Kobe. He's going ISO and take that shot. Now, their passing out of those situations has gotten significantly better. That's what you should be happy about because it has. And finding the open man and things like that.
Oh, I am.
Griff don't even sound like a real fan, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Wow. I'm just not going to sound like Scooter and,
Oh, I don't want you to, you don't have to sound, like I said, delusional, but,
I have a level of objectivity.
But there's no tidbits, like
no tidbits, nothing. Let's hear this objectivity then.
They realistically they should have won that series in 6.
Oh, what do you mean realistically? That's not what happened.
I understand that, but they should have won that series in 6 games. But
so they should have won Game 6.
Yes.
That's hard pressed when you got 49 coming from JB.
Well, it's 47, but okay. I get you, but I get your point.
You're right. Correction. Instead of him putting 49 on your head, he put 47. Correction. You're right. You're absolutely right. But still, 47 is 47. That's an all-time great performance. It's not like I mean, I would.
It was. I'm not taking that away.
Are you saying that you should have won a games prior to that?
Like I said, the Celtics have played bad quarters that have gotten them out of games. If they didn't do that, they win the game.
I mean, perhaps. Well, I mean, we can nitpick.
It's the thing with them; they make runs and come back and take leads, and then they take their foot off the gas. That is definitely a problem. That, as you say, will probably be an issue going forward. Or you say definitely will be an issue going forward.
Well, I specifically meant like how they play and execute in the late game situation. I wasn't talking about that specific point that you just said about them taking their foot off the gas. I'm more so just meant how they're gonna execute, offensively in the stretch of games going forward into this stretch of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown's, I guess, iteration of the Celtics. That's what I meant.
Well, we can hope that changes. I think it can, and it will. But we'll see what happens.
Sure.
I'm happy that they're there. But speaking of that, let's get to it. NBA Finals. Golden State Warriors versus, obviously, my Boston Celtics.
Are they your Boston Celtics? Because I couldn't tell, man.
I don't know anymore, man.
There's no excitement. There's no there's objectivity and then there's excitement.
Where's the conviction?
My Lord, you remind me of somebody who claims they're a Lakers fan and was like talking shit about Bron the whole time, and then when they won the championship, he was super quiet, and now since they're struggling again, he's super loud again, but he's a Lakers fan.
And who would that be?
I'm not gonna name drop him because the name. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. But he knows who he is. To be quite honest, that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, look. Let's get into the objectivity. When we predicted it, I didn't predict them to be here. Am I extremely happy that they're there? Of course.
So then, how can you? So I'm gonna piggyback to you real quick.
There are things that concern me, obviously, but I'm glad they're there. They had some. Marcus's injury is concerning because I think it's still lingering. Time Lord being seemingly iffy for every game. It's Time Lord, Robert Williams, being seemingly iffy to play every game. That's concerning.
That brother's name is Robert. I don't know no Time Lord that you speak of.
That's his nickname, Time Lord.
Yeah, he's had that for a minute though, Chris. I can't get.
He has.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying to me that brother's name is Robert. Robert Williams.
Okay, fair enough. Robert Williams seems to be iffy for every game.
Then spend some more time on the court, Lord. I'm done on Robert Williams. That was a bit much.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm done.
All right.
Yeah.
Rant over.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Let's say enough about Gransby and Celtics.
Anyway, NBA Finals, Golden State Warriors, Boston Celtics. Who wins?
You were going first.
Oh, I'm going first?
Yeah.
You were talking about it. That's crazy. He don't even want to pick his team.
No,
PT. You
no,
don't
look,
even believe in him.
can I
It's crazy.
can a man be objective?
You don't even believe in him.
Nah.
Oh, that's not the same thing. Objectivity is not the same thing as belief. Hart says Celtics in 6.
Is there something else that says something different?
Okay, can I? I'll get to it. Let me get to it. Damn, don't rush me.
That was silence for Jimmy.
My head says it'll be close, but Warriors in 7.
Oh.
Celtics Nation hate me, whatever. Call it a Bayless take.
I mean,
Scooter gonna get on my head, but
it's Warriors in 7, and you believe in your team. That belief, I feel like, should get you over to Celtics in 7. That's just what I think. But
I mean,
you know what I'm saying.
Also, really quickly though, like for anybody that doesn't know, like Grants is in like a Celtics group chat or like a forum, so he's gonna get eaten up the next time he's there. So I'm just letting you guys know that.
As he should, because he's not believing in his team. Gramps, tell us why. Why is it the Warriors in 7?
I think when it comes down to it, the Celtics as a team will play good enough defense and they'll score enough to make it a 7-game series. But I think in a situation like that, scoring won't come from enough people to win in a game 7. They'll go dry. Tatum will have a dry game, or Jaylen Brown will have a dry game, or they just won't. You won't get the random 20 piece from Grant Williams, or Horford will have an off night and won't give you 20. Marcus Smart isn't the kind of guy you expect to score 20 plus a game, but in certain games he did that for them to win. I just don't see it as being a thing that'll happen. I think the Warriors will win a game 7. They'll just outscore, and the Celtics won't be able to score enough to beat them consistently. I think they'll do it enough to go 7 games. Obviously their defense is superb, and it will keep them in the series and make it go 7 games. But I think in a game 7, the Warriors will come out hot. It could score a lot of points, and I just don't think Boston will keep up. I'm just being honest. They got a lot of guys. The Warriors have a lot of guys who can get buckets. Celtics have a lot of guys who could get buckets. They have 2 who can and some who could. I just think this is going to be a high-scoring series. It'll probably go. The Celtics defense will carry them through to a 7th game, the shooting will go cold. They won't get enough scoring balance from the team as a whole, and the Warriors will get it.
I mean, I respect it. Are you? Is that the complete analysis?
Yes.
Are you ready for mine so I can convince you that the Celtics are going to win this series?
Sure.
PTP?
I mean, you're the quote-unquote AOB, so as an advocate.
All right, man. So hear me.
I want to hear this.
So here's the thing. You talk about, this Warriors offense, and they got all these guys that can score and hibbity hoobity hobbly hobbla hog squash. There's no team probably in the playoffs besides maybe Miami that was better equipped to guard, or that's just as good equipped to guard the Warriors, other than the Boston Celtics. You guys have elite perimeter defenders, 1 through 4. Period. Elite. You guys have a center in Al Horford who can legitimately switch 1 through 5. And not only can he do that, but keep in mind that that's always, and I do mean always have been the Warriors' Achilles heel, especially in the pre-Kevin Durant days, because it's hard for Steph and Clay, to really get get going a lot of the times or get those easy buckets when they're not able to take advantage of switching at all points in times. That's why Kevin Durant kind of alleviated that. I don't believe personally that Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins are going to be up to the task of basically accounting for KD type production, in my opinion, personally. Um, that's one. I think Steph Curry's going to have a rough go at it. You guys have too many defenders, too many guys that are going to be switching on him. He's going to probably be guarded primarily by Marcus Smart, and if Gary Payton comes back, Gary Payton. And then when he's going to be trying to run pick and rolls, he's going to have Al Horford or Jason Tatum on him for a significant amount of the time. And the Warriors don't have the size to punish that anyway. Like this whole Kevin Looney story, it's nice. It was nice while it lasted. It will not happen against Robert Williams and Al Horford. His impact will be completely minimized. He was a big reason of the success that they were having against the Mavericks. It won't happen against the Celtics. That is completely minimized. He's not going to be out rebounding Robert Williams. Period. It's just not. He's not going to be getting these easy rim runs against Al Horford and Robert Williams. That's just not going to happen. I've seen Al Horford guard Giannis successfully. Seen Robert Williams put a body in front of Giannis successfully. Kevin Looney is not only undersized, but not even the athlete and not the finisher that he was, or the finisher or athlete that Bam was, and they were giving him fits. So that what's the word? Impact that's gone. That's finito. As far as scoring wise, yes, if you want to say that outside of the top two, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, if you want to say that Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins are more consistent than your 3 and 4 guys, which would be Al Horford and who else? Marcus Smart, maybe? Or is there somebody else?
Marcus, or possibly, because it varies. One game it could be Horford, it could be Smart. Grant Williams had one game.
So yeah. When that type of thing, when you have a solidified 2 offensive scores, in my opinion, when you have that and you have a bunch of guys that could step up any night, that lends itself to your success. It would be different if you just had Jason Tatum and a bunch of question marks at 2 trying to step up. But since you have those 2, it reminds me a lot of the Raptors series. Kawhi was the number 1 option. Pascal was the secondary option. And then behind that, you had a bunch of guys who could and would step up at any given game because there's not that much pressure. They're not getting the first or second attention. They can just get their points within the game. If they get hot, you can try to feed them a little bit. So that's why we saw games where Marc Gasol had 20. We saw games where Freddie had 20. We saw games where Kyle had 20. I think we saw Serge had a couple of good games. So like
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so in this situation, especially when like there's a bunch of mismatches, in my opinion, especially amongst your bigs, like there's no reason why Al Horford and Robin Williams shouldn't be eating at least one at a time. Yes, Draymond is still Draymond, but he can't guard both of them, especially like on pick and rolls, lobs, all of that, or even like how aggressive Al Horford has been playing. Like they're not really, in my opinion, equipped to guard that Al Horford. You know what I mean? Like making plays off the dribble, which I haven't seen in a while. He was doing that. Like they're just not. I don't think they're equipped to do that. And they have so much more scoring coming from all these different places. Like yes, the Warriors have those 4, but they need all those. They need consistent, probably 15 to 20 points, in my opinion, from those 4. They're not going to win. I don't know. I just think the Celtics are a little bit deeper. And yes, they might have a slight inconsistent question mark at that 3 and 4, but they just have so many more guys. I guess past that Warriors 4, who else am I counting on? For offense, I should say.
You might be able to get a little out of the rookie.
Oh, you're talking about
Kuminga. Yeah, possibly. They got some minutes. They got some minutes in the.
If you want to rely on rookies to step up, in the NBA Finals, You go right ahead, my good sir. I won't be doing that. I see a team with past Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum who have Al Horford, Marcus Smart, Robert Williams, uh, Derek White, and Pritchard, who have all stepped up, who have all given buckets and big moments in the playoffs already.
And Grant Williams, yeah.
No, I don't like Grant Williams.
I'm not gonna lie. No disrespect to Grant, but
Yeah, I'm not gonna say Grant Williams. He's a flop and a half. He's good for 28 minutes, 5 fouls, and 0 points.
He sticks to the corner.
Damn.
He sticks to the corner in the wing. He's a big body, but I no.
Yeah, if they want to win, they'll keep his minutes down to a minimum. In my opinion, I don't think he's needed in this.
If I'm him to drop 20, then it's Warriors in 4. Let me stop.
Derek White needs to take a good chunk of his minutes, honestly, for this particular series. His big body's just not needed. Like in the past, you need his big body, put him in front of Bam for switches. He can be on Jimmy sometimes or Giannis, all that. But he's literally just not needed for this particular series. So I mean, this is a series where Pritchard could play a lot, in my opinion, and I think he should. And he got an offensive game for sure. Be on the lookout for him. But I say all this to say Celtics in 7. I don't think Steph gets his 4th ring because I think for them to win, either Steph or Andrew Wiggins has to be the Finals MVP. I don't think that Andrew is going to be able to primarily guard Jason Tatum fully and outplay him. I do think he's going to have a great series, but I don't think he's going to do both of those. And I just don't think that Steph is going to have – I think he's just going to have a rough go at it. He's going to have a lot of attention, a lot of defenders, and they are equipped to guard him successfully. So, Celtics in 7.
All right. I mean, I'm not going to fault your logic or your pick. Certainly not.
My logic is undeniable. For all the young kids, that's iRobot for all the young kids who don't know.
All right, PGP, what do you got?
Well, as riveting as both sides of the perspective is,
Pistons in 6.
I've disagreed once. I'm disagreeing again. I believe Warriors in 7, and the reason I'm going to say that is because, obviously, as well as how about this, as very good that the Celtics are, from top to bottom. Al Horford playing like he's not Dane or 40. Robert Williams when he's on the court plays.
He's 35. He's not 39. Okay.
Horford up there with Bron. I'm keeping it a stack, but it's older than me. That's all I know. But JB putting in that work, putting in the pain. Also, really weird side note. It was like an Instagram post where they talked about Jaylen Brown being at the, I think it was 2016 finals game for when the Warriors were playing, and he said of himself like he was going to be there, and now a couple years later he's in it. Good for him. Tatum is Tatum. We all know that. But to me, I look at the Warriors. I look at a Warriors team that objectively on paper, outside of the initial 5 names that you think of when you think of this team, probably shouldn't be here right now. But they find ways to win games. And even though they're not the biggest, they're not the most athletic, they're not, like, a lot of different things play into the opposite hand of the Celtics. But this is a smart team. A team that's been through the mud, has faced Bron, one of the greatest, multiple occasions. Sometimes they pull it out, sometimes they got bought. Sometimes you lose, you win, you win some, you lose some. This series, I see it as they haven't been there in a while. They all know that. Clay knows that, Curry knows that, all that stuff. These guys aren't going to lay down easily for a team that obviously, has the ability to do it. But looking at them from past series, they do have times where they take their foot off the gas or they're not as aggressive as they should be. And the moment that they do that, this is a team that can very much take advantage of any little opportunity that you give them. Giving them an inch, they take a mile. So, I'm not sure how strenuous it would be for both sides. Honestly, as far as like from a scoring perspective, It's gonna be hard hitting. It's gonna be brutal. But at the end of it all, I feel like the Warriors pull this out.
Well, that's similar to me. Chris, any clapback on that?
I mean, I don't think me and PTP are going to agree tonight, and that's and that's okay.
We
just
never agree, so that's not gonna change.
we're going to be on the same page for that's just what it's going to be, and that's okay. Even the reasons I don't agree with, at least Gramps, I said okay, I hear you, and I raised you this PTP. I don't even like your reasons. But yeah, that's fine. That's cool, man. Steph, hey, you guys got Steph getting his 4th ring. He'll be top 10. That's good, fine, great, and dandy. Fantastic. But hey.
Grant, you see how I gave kudos to his points?
I did.
You can't even respect my points. That's tough.
I respect them. I just don't like them or agree with them.
Come on, Skip.
I'm gonna respect them regardless. Because I respect you, but I just don't agree with them. Like that's basically what I'm trying to say. I agree with some of Gramps' points. I just didn't think that they were enough to overset what I think the set is going to be. But that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, Jay, listen. Hey.
All right. Well,
is Clay guarding Jaylen Brown? Is that what's going on? Is that what?
Yeah,
I'm sure he's gonna try.
I'm sure. Give it his best crack. I'm sure.
Like this is the last thing I'm gonna put on that, and I'm gonna just move on from there. From my perspective, at some point in my life, in some form or fashion, I seen footage of a 6'7", 6'8" Ben Wallace giving Shaquille O'Neal, who had the most, I'm saying, hold on, here we are. Who had the utmost glaring advantage, get put in a UPS box. Crazy things have happened in the NBA Finals.
First of all,
crazy things have happened in the NBA
This went off the rails.
No, you, sir, have just
okay,
blasphemy for so many reasons. No, he did it, so we're gonna do this. First of all, we're comparing Klay Thompson, who is a great defender. Who was a great defender. Let's make no mistake about that. We're comparing that to Ben Wallace, who has, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know 4 or 3.
3.
How many?
3.
3?
Yeah, 3.
3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, and was spearheaded one of the greatest, if not the greatest defense in NBA history by some metrics. Pretty sure. That's what is that. We're comparing that to that. Also, Ben Wallace was healthy. It wasn't coming off catastrophic leg injuries, and talking about perimeter defense, which is completely different than dealing with big body Shaq in the post. Yes, he's a handful for sure. One of the toughest covers ever, but he ain't making you move left, right, laterally.
Okay, I got 2 things for that. One, I just looked it up. It actually was 4. That's what I mean. Secondly, when I brought it...
4, hey. Sheesh.
Yeah. Probably should have been 5, but that's for another day. So, outside of that, I was wrong on that one. 2...
Also, real quick, Shaq still, although Ben was Ben, Shaq still did average 26 and 10 on 64% from the field. So, yeah. Yes, he did. He kept him from averaging 36, but he was still making his buckets and dropping buckets. Let's not, if Jaylen Brown is shooting 50% from the field, then the Warriors lost.
Yeah. I see. But also, when I initially brought it up, more or less, it wasn't specifically for, Klay, because obviously Klay gonna struggle regardless. Even if he was healthy to an extent, I still feel like he would struggle because Jaylen Brown been making people slide for the past 2 series. I don't see that changing. But I'm just saying from a perspective of just overall, And even then, like going back to well, Grant, you remember the one episode I didn't get out, the March Madness bracket stuff. Duke on paper was supposed to flood North Carolina, right? By every metric, they had the upper hand, and the game was lopsided.
Oh, that's one game. If they played best of 7, I feel very confident that that best team wins. This isn't no any given Sunday scenario. This is a series. So if you are better than that person, it will show. If he cannot guard you, it will show. There's no like the more often than not, and I do stress more often than not. Not to say it happens every time, but usually the best team wins.
Yeah,
even though we saw that didn't just happen.
Yeah, but also
recently.
Also in most cases, I'll give you this. To be honest, I mean, obviously one game is probably more definitive than a 7-game series. A 7-game series gives you more opportunities to right your wrongs. Ergo,
Absolutely.
Mavericks beating the Suns mainly because the Suns just didn't want to right their wrongs, and you give up in 7. You give up in that certain amount of games.
More so they were more so incapable of righting their wrongs.
Yeah,
because the roster was set up.
Yeah, mentally fatigued. Maybe certain things were written up the right way. A bunch of different things. I don't know. I see it as one of the things where, like I said, more often than not, the best team wins. But there are those outliers that end up shaking the fabric. Not shaking the fabric of time, but shaking up, the outlook of what the series should have been or could have been if point B or point A was actually involved in the scenario. So it's gonna be good basketball, but that's just how I'm seeing it.
Wow, got some real Skip and Shannon vibes there off you two. That was a little.
First of all, who are you calling Skip? First of all, that's disrespectful to both of us.
It was just it was really a general statement. It was really a general statement, man. It wasn't really like saying one is the other. Just a general statement.
Show some respect.
Or maybe like a Nick Wright, Chris Broussard kind of argument, maybe. But
that's
not saying one is the other. I'm not saying that. Don't get it twisted.
That's much more respectable.
Yeah, I can take that.
I'll take.
All right.
Take either one of them, to be honest. Yeah. I'm not mad at either of them.
Yeah, I'm just not. It was just general. I wasn't like calling either one of you. Either one of them.
Because you're supposed to be Bayless.
No, because y'all better than them. Yeah, no, y'all. Oh no, keep it a static. Y'all better than them. I'm just saying, it's sort of like that. The way you were talking, the way you were calling at each other, it sounded like them. That's all.
Man, Celtics in 7, man. I'm saying, bro, when Jason Tatum gets a Finals MVP, bro, I don't want to hear nothing from you, Gramps, because you didn't believe in him. I believed in him.
That aside, if Tatum is hoisting that Bill Russell trophy with that, what they named the Finals one again? Or is it still Bill Russell for the Finals MVP?
I think it's still Bill Russell, although it should be Michael Jordan.
Yeah, like if he's hoisting that Bill Russell trophy up above his head, I will bite my words. But until that day,
also, who what's the Eastern Conference award?
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird.
Yeah, wrong person. Sorry,
Jordan.
It should be LeBron.
No, I was gonna say LeBron.
Yeah, that's not. I'm not even being biased. It should be LeBron. Man, eight straight conference championships.
Yeah, I can see
Come
that.
on now.
Definitely, I can see
like,
that.
Like,
I get the reasoning for it though.
Yeah.
At least what I think the reasoning is. So it's harmless.
I get it for sure, but if we want to do things right, Jerry West shouldn't be the logo. Kobe should be the logo. LeBron should be the name of that Eastern Conference award. Michael Jordan should have the Finals MVP award, and the Western Conference. I'm fine with it being Magic.
It's like I have two names that I feel could be it, but I just don't think it was
Kareem.
For who?
Shoot, I was thinking Kareem, Tim.
I thought about
Kobe.
Tim. I don't think that Tim or Kobe I could be wrong about this, but this is my mindset. I just thought that Magic was a part of the dominating the West more often than Kobe and Tim did during their times. Especially just because Tim and Kobe were knocking each other off also a lot of the time.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be that way just because like since they ran into each other so much, like you said, that it takes away from it because it was more or less like who between those two had the better chance of being the champion, and whoever won between those two more often than not would end up being either in the game or the champion itself. So
But yeah,
Well, all right. Let's move on to something fun where there might actually be some agreement.
there won't be.
there will be. I'm sorry.
We'll see. We'll see. But the NBA draft is exactly 3 weeks from today, as of this recording. We will be doing a full mock draft closer to that, but for this show, our I guess 1.0 mock draft. We're just going to be doing the lottery picks 1 through 14. So who would like to start at number 1?
I'll go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have the number 1 pick of the 2022 NBA draft. Paulo Banchero, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly.
Banchero.
I'm not pronouncing his name correctly. Banchero. But yeah, man.
That's
so
what I hear. That's what I keep hearing. So I'm just glad it is.
Yeah.
Banchero now, it's Banchero. Hey, it's too late now. If it's wrong, it's wrong. But in my mind, it's wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So yes, so Orlando for sure needs scoring. That's just they've been. Let's just keep it a buck. As far as scoring, they've been ass for the past couple years. They've been ass.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold the audience. They have not been a great offensive team. Now they've dealt with a lot of injuries, but we can talk about that a little bit later. They need scoring, and I don't think they could have went wrong with either Jabari or Banchero. But although Jabari has, in my opinion, the higher ceiling, like the best version of Jabari of what he could be, to me, is better than what Banchero can be. But Banchero is just to me, just way more of a consistent, like, entity. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're both all-star level potential, like all-star level talents. But Banchero just he's a little bit more complete of a player, if that makes sense. I feel like on his, if we go to his report card, they're all B's to B pluses.
You'd say he's probably more NBA ready right out of the gate. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, yes, but that's not. I do think he is, but that's not what I'm saying with this point. I just think he's more well rounded in his offensive approach. So like if I just go down his list, like his report card, he's all B's, B pluses. Barry's got some A's, some A pluses in there, but he's also got some C's, maybe some C minuses. You know what I mean? But what he's good at is just the potential of his shot making and what he can be from that standpoint is just it's scary. It really is. But I have them going with the consistent scorer. Also, his body's a little bit more ready, in my opinion, for the NBA. And I mean, I think he probably projects to be a little bit more of a little bit more of what today's like 4 looks like. Honestly, I think Jabari is going to end up being more like a tweener, like a 3 anyway, to be honest. Just how he moves and how he plays. I think Banchero slides nicely into that prototypical 4 spot. And then they have a lot of guards in Orlando, so I feel like that could definitely be a building block with them. They got to figure out how they want to do things, but also with Banchero, like his defensive limitations are completely offset if Jonathan Isaac is healthy and slides into that center position, which he can. So that's my whole mindset from that. You know, you got Suggs, you got Cole, you got Fultz. Figure out which 2 of these you're going to build with, because one of them is going to be out. That's probably just what that's going to be. figure out that lineup, build with take Banchero as this young building block, and get healthy and see what you can do, man.
Well, since you brought him up, my pick for the Magic at number 1 is Jabari Smith. Yeah, as I'll piggyback your point. They could keep Mo Bamba as well, so their big situation could be totally fine. I'm kind of going on that with this pick that they're probably Isaac will come back healthy and they'll probably keep Bamba unless somebody overpays. But it's just go on. Let's just go with this. Yeah. I think Jabari fits with them. Yeah, he's got to get a little bigger. He's got to kind of tighten his handle a little bit. They definitely need. I think he could play three or the four.
Yeah,
if necessary for them. His size definitely helps. His 3-point shooting definitely helps because they're not a very good 3-point shooting team. Definitely the 3-and-D. I realistically, if he bulks up a little bit, he could guard 1 through 5.
Yeah, I agree. I don't.
If his defense translates right away, it may not. There might be a little bit of a learning curve, but with all that, I think he's the. I see Bamba staying, Isaac coming back healthy, and I think with that, he's the better fit for them.
Potentially, I mean, I didn't anticipate Mo Bamba staying. That's why I didn't.
I'm thinking he's going to. That was kind of part of the thinking. I think he was going. They'll keep him because I don't think anybody's going to overpay for what was he 10-8.
Yeah, 10-8, but young, can shoot threes, and he's a rim protector. So he basically slots in as a young rim protecting stretch big, which is incredible.
It's rare.
And he's young.
Very rare.
Yeah,
he's young. They should keep. I think they should keep him, but like that was the thinking. So
that's fair. But yeah, like his skill set is incredibly rare. Although I wouldn't say he's an elite 3-point shooter or an elite rim protector, but like just that potential and then being young, he's gonna get looks for sure.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of like the way teams operate now. You know, they like to be able to play 5 out, but still have be able to protect on the defensive end is. Yeah, that gets teams, gets them nice and hot,
nice and hot.
Nice and hot.
Nice and hot.
Well, yeah. Well.
Go ahead, throw your man out there so we can talk. So I can talk shit about him.
Yeah, and I got my reasons, so don't worry about that. We all have 3 different people. So with the Orlando Magic at number 1, I have Mr. Chet Holmgren. And my reason for that mainly is like how Grant's posed the scenario. I think Mo Bamba gets massively, like he's gonna get a lot of opportunities, basically because of the 3-point shooting, the rim protecting. He's only like 23, 22, something like that. He still has a lot of time to grow. So I'm thinking in the case of if they were to lose Mo Bamba because they don't want to give the overpay based off the 10-8 stats that he put up this past season, I feel like they take a guy that at his size and with his skill set could potentially be a can't miss prospect. Yes, at Gonzaga, he didn't really jump off the page like everybody wanted him to, but the Gonzaga team was really well put together. Like Drew Timme was pretty much their post guy, Nimhard, Julian Strother. Like they had a lot of people on that team that could do a multitude of things scoring wise. So Chet would just ask to rebound every once in a while, pick the ball up, run the court, protect the rim. That's pretty much what he was. He's gonna get bigger, as most players who kind of come in around his stature do. Like Brandon Ingram came in looking like a noodle. He bulked up. A couple other names that I probably couldn't think of. But also looking at the way that the Magic is constructed, a guy like Jalen Suggs, who I still feel has room to grow. I feel like him and Cole Anthony are going to be their 2 guards of the future. Just because Fultz's injury history doesn't really work in his favor.
I'd agree.
Yeah. Even though Fultz has shown that when healthy, he could turn it up. But I just feel like at this point, Suggs defensively, and Cole, potential, just off his energy, I feel like he'll be kept. But and then as you guys said, Jonathan Isaac, when healthy, is one of the top defenders in the league. So a front court of Isaac and Holmgren to me is a matchup nightmare. Like 6'11" with that wingspan, I's gonna protect the rim. He can move his feet. Chet Holmgren probably not gonna be the fastest on foot, but his wingspan is going to cause problems on the interior. And you almost get a more potentially polished version of what Mo Bamba is projected to be, as far as a rim protecting stretch big who also has the potential to put the ball on the floor and run a fast break. So I feel like the Magic overall they can't really go wrong, but me personally, as a can't miss prospect, I'd take Chet.
Yeah. I would hope at some point we'll agree here, but let's see what happens. All right. Second pick, Thunder. Want to just keep the order that we've been doing?
Yep.
Yeah, we can keep that.
Was it you first or was it me first? Was it me first?
I think
It was you
first.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
yeah,
were
so
first. Yeah.
number 2, I got Chet Holmgren. He fits on OKC. He fits their timeline. I don't think he's actually that ready to play, personally, but he's going to get a lot of time in OKC. He's going to get a lot of mistakes and all this. He's coming in talking big shit, talking about he's going to be the best player and all this. He's going to get attacked from Jump Street. this dude is drunk. He's talking, I'm gonna see you soon, Luca. Like, who do you think you are? We're even the best player on Gonzaga. But that's neither here nor there. Actually, I take it back. It's here and now. Dude is got all the talent. Well, let me take that back. All the potential, yes. My worry with Chet Holmgren is I really don't think he's elite at any of these things that people speak on. Like, yes, he's 7 feet tall. That's great. He's not an elite athlete like a Kevin Durant was. Um, I wouldn't say he's an elite scorer like a Brandon Ingram was coming out of college, even though he still had a slight frame as well. I don't think he's a good shot blocker. I don't worry about how that's going to translate because he's not going to be able to bang with people. Like we look at Rudy Gobert. Like Rudy really doesn't bang with people. Rudy's a great shot blocker. He doesn't bang with people, and as a result, he gets attacked a lot. A lot of times, he's getting attacked by smaller guys, and they're finishing on him and around the rim. And I'm sure at this point he's probably got 60, 70 pounds on Chet. But Chet's young for sure. And then just talk about his ability to like put the ball on the floor. I don't think he has an elite handle. I don't think it's that tight. So I just worry that he has all these quote unquote good traits. None of them are going to be elite. And in the NBA, you have to be elite at whatever you're doing to be able to do it on the court. That's just that's what I truly believe. If you're not an elite ball handler, and that's a loose term when I say that, because I mean amongst the peers there's different levels, but just in general, when we think about it in general, like to be able to bring the ball up in an NBA game, you have to be an elite ball handler. Because if people believe you can't dribble, they're gonna take the ball from you. Period. You can't dribble, they're gonna take the ball away. I just worry that it's just I worry what his niche is going to be. But OKC is the perfect place for him to find out.
Well, damn.
I can respect it.
Well, damn. I mean, I honestly don't have really anything else to say. Chris pretty much stole all my thunder and all my words there. But
Thunder.
my pick for the Thunder is Chet Holmgren. But pretty much for everything you said, I don't think there's anything I can add to what you said. That I am worried about his frame, and his overall health. But I assume he'll put on some weight. But other than that, I mean, pretty much everything you said spot on. I don't think I could add anything else to that. But that's my pick. I agree.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, for me, I got the Thunder taking Jabari Smith. Kind of a pick that I'm still kind of not sure about myself as far as just how he fits.
I said that is a weird fit for sure.
Yeah, because I'm like now that I'm thinking about it, like obviously he's not like a prototypical guy that you would throw in at the 5, even though he does have somewhat of the height for it. That's just with the level that he plays at, I don't think you would pigeonhole him to the 5. But the Thunder do have a lot of picks, honestly. And with the list that I have in front of me, I do have them taking a center at some point, just not at 2. But with his skill set, like how you guys said earlier when we were talking about taking him at number 1, I think Gramps had him at number 1. He has the potential to be a really, really solid player. He fits the type of projection that most NBA teams would want in a guy, like the height, the ability to defend at a high level. Shooting wise, he was I think he was top in the nation in shooting for the 3. The Thunder would be interesting.
Yeah, he was about 42%.
Yeah, like
yeah.
He was a marksman. The Thunder would be interesting mainly just because of how many picks that they have. They have the room to take a guy that plugs into a spot at forward, which I really don't think they have like a for sure like spot like locked up on. I mean, they have Pokashevsky, but Pokashevsky's kind of like a unicorn. They have a lot of unicorns, honestly. They even have Vic Reggie, who's like a 6'8" point guard. Like they have a lot of height and things to play with. So I feel like them for sure locking up a potential starting 3 or even 4, depending on like what else they do in the draft, is something that they should probably do.
Okay. That was quick. Pick 3, the Rockets.
Jabari Smith. He fits to me what they want to do, fits to me their culture, fits to me their players. I mean, he's offensively inclined. They want to get up and down and score. He fits with them perfectly, in my opinion. I'm gonna keep it quick on that. That's about it.
Him and Green does sound good. I just want to point that out. That does kind of sound good.
Yeah.
I'm going with Paolo at 3. He fits the timeline. I think he fits the team. I really like the pairing of him and Jalen Green. I think they could be might be a bit of a stretch to say, but as a 1-2 punch, I think they could be a playoff duo, not this next season, but the season after.
Bayless takes. I know.
There it is. See that? Slip that in there. Slip that in there.
You did.
Slip that in there. Come on, PGP, pick him too. Come on, agree with me.
Yeah, I'm about to say like that's what we're going to agree on. I got Paolo at number 3.
Yeah, I'm
about to say for me it was unanimous, but just based off of like, not to say that like where he wants to play matters, but he likes Houston, so if he falls to 3, it wouldn't really matter. But kind of like how G said, him and Green, not sure about playoff duo, but I do feel like a trio of him, KPJ, and Green for the majority of the season, like in Paolo's rookie year, could prove to turn a lot of heads. Plus, they still have Şengün, who I feel honestly has the makeup of a starting center. Josh Christopher off the bench, if he continues to develop, could make them really, really exciting. And Paolo has the height, he has the size, he handles the ball, a little well. I'm still a little concerned as far as them having Christian Wood as their center. I mean, Christian Wood is still like he's not a bum, but I don't know about him being their like center of the future. So that's the only thing that's kind of iffy to me. But not center of the future, but center for now, in my opinion. But yeah, Paolo in Houston sounds extremely fun with him and Green and all them guys.
Not 22, 23, but maybe like a slight Grizzlies like turnaround, and then 23, 24 be a lower seed playoff team. I don't see why it's out of the realm. I could see it.
Yeah.
That's very tough, and
we'll if it happens, we'll come back to it.
Considering what the Grizzlies did, I will wait to see that. They don't have the culture or the player.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it would have to be this season would have to be like the dictation of what their next 2 years look like.
This next season, for that to even be in the cards, in my opinion, this next season, Jalen Green and or Porter would have to be all-star contention.
Yeah.
And if they're an all-star contention, then that means their teams are at least like respectable. You
Yeah.
know, they weren't really respectable this year.
Yeah. Granted, Green down the stretch of the season, even though they were losing,
Yeah, he played
yeah,
well,
yeah,
but you
he did amp it up. So if it's any indication of how it was when he was in the G League, like he started off slow, had to really adjust to what they were throwing at him. Then he starts cooking. Potentially, it could be that.
Hmm. All right. Pick 4, the Kings. I think I'm going to surprise people here, but go ahead.
I'm taking Keegan Murray. Basically kind of prototypical 3-and-D type of guy. I mean, his shot creation isn't the very best, but playing next to, I feel like a Fox, a Sabonis, he'll be able to slot right in. He has the potential to be able to guard multiple positions. I think he just fits. He's a nice piece to fit in with them personally. So yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people are talking guards here, but it just doesn't make sense to me to take a guard in the fourth overall when you have De'Aaron Fox and you just took Mitchell. It doesn't make sense in my mind to take another guard. So
Mhm.
I
Okay.
will take my spot for Keegan Murray, who was a bucket in college for sure and has defensive chops potential.
Okay. Well, okay. I, with the Kings pick at number 4, am going with AJ Griffin.
Okay,
I
huh?
considered him. No, I considered him at that position.
Yeah, AJ Griffin.
I think that Keegan is a little better
Yeah.
at that position, but I mean it's that's
It's
I
interesting
like him
though.
as an
yeah,
yeah. I
I agree.
like him as an off-ball threat.
Yep.
Definitely 3-point shooter. Um, I think he complements the guard duo well. They definitely obviously don't need another guard. Um, like you said, he could come in and be a 3-and-D guy. He definitely is, at least with his college numbers, is an elite shooter.
Yeah,
I think he
he played. He was
complements with
solid.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
complements them well. And I think he could be, you know, all-star caliber. That could be a hell of a trio in a couple years, assuming, obviously the Kings don't Kings and trade De'Aaron Fox or some weird shit. But yeah,
Yeah, I say yeah. One can dream on them getting it right finally. Um,
That's it.
wait, what?
Did you look at Murray for that position? Or were you always looking at Griffin? Or were you looking between the two?
I was between the two.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Did their respective ages factor in for you?
Um, Not necessarily. No, I just think at the end of the day, with the way with the where the Kings are and with Mitchell and Fox in the backcourt, I just thought AJ was a slightly better fit with the two of them.
Hmm.
Respectable.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, looking at what I probably would see the Kings doing, I also went with Keegan Murray. Um, Mainly because kind of similar to how you said, scoring wise really wouldn't be an issue. He led the nation at some point, or actually led the nation in points. Getting a bucket isn't a problem. Defensively, does have a few things to work on, but with his length and his height, he does have the potential to be an NBA level defender. With De'Aaron and Sabonis, two players that obviously De'Aaron's gonna still like control the ball a lot, but Sabonis still does have he has pretty good vision for a center, so him getting his looks won't be difficult to get. Um, yeah, that's pretty much how I see it. Pretty good pick for them, in my opinion.
All right, pick 5. PTP's Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, I have Jaden Ivey going to the Pistons. I think he's a nice fit to go along with Cade. Um, I'm usually a bit skeptical of like taking slightly undersized twos, depending on what that one position is. But Cade's 6'8", so they could get real funky with how they do defensive assignments on the backcourt and things like that. Um, I mean, Ivy obviously he's dynamic, explosive. He's gotten a lot of Ja Morant comparisons.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's definitely more of a two guard than like that main ball handler. But that's fine too. I mean, if he's able to slide in and be a secondary playmaker, that just helps even more. So, I mean, he just got to work on some things. But I mean, all of the things like his shot and stuff like that can be improved with time for sure. I think he's a nice building block, and he'll be able to shore up your backcourt for like the foreseeable future. I mean, Jaden and Cade that's a formidable backcourt on paper for sure. So, and going forward, I don't know. I feel like he's just a good pick that you can cross off on. Like I think he'll be solid on both ends. I don't know his complete ceiling, but I mean, I don't think he has to be like some superstar or all-star player for it to be a good pick personally. I did look at Benedict too, but I like Jaden a little more personally.
Well, PTP, I don't know what you're going to think, but I'm going with Keegan here.
Oh.
He's a bucket. I would say he's excellent at defender, but I think he's certainly well equipped to defend all 5 positions. Uh, I think he's a perfect running mate in general with Cade, and I can see a lot of Cade Murray, especially in transition. I can see a lot of Cade Murray transition buckets.
What would
I
you
think
do?
I think they fit together like a glove. So I'm going with him.
Is he taking Sadiq's spot?
That is the question.
Possibly. Possibly.
Oh no! This past year,
Say Sadiq might have to
he,
be our starting three after this year.
in my opinion, he has to be. He took a pretty good jump.
I mean, in theory, Keegan could play small ball 4 or vice
Yeah,
versa.
that's true.
Yeah,
That is true. Yeah, actually, yeah. I'm not. If he's at the 4, I'm not mad at it for sure. I'm not mad at it for sure. Because well, I'll wait. I got some more good stuff for the Pistons.
I like I can see it because he's a bucket. I love in transition. I could really see a lot of fast break Cade Murray buckets. I could see it. That's why I picked it. I literally could picture it, and I was like, that would make PTP happy. That's not why I did it, but when I got the fit, I'm just like, yeah, I can see it.
Hmm.
And then PTP could be the Cade Cunningham, Keegan Murray enthusiast.
All right, let's see. Who you got,
Put the
Percy?
Yeah. This might be a little bit of a shocker, but I mean, I've been wrestling with it for the past few days. So I have them
Take the shoot.
taking. You said what?
I said, "Yeah, boy, finna take the shooter from Davidson."
Oh no! I ain't jumping at all. But I have them taking Shaden Sharp.
Okay.
Now, like,
oh.
kind of go into like what Chris said about like the small ball guard thing. I think Shaden's 6'4", maybe 6'5". I don't know, but
I got him at 6. I got him listed at 6'6".
yeah, 6'6". Okay, yeah, so he's way taller than the average point guard. Um, he very much could be projected as a dynamic player where you can kind of same thing with Ivy in a way, like it's interchangeable between Cade and Shaden at the 1 or 2. But looking at a couple of the highlights, because he didn't play in college this year, he sat out for what reason I don't know yet. It could have been for a good reason, could have been for a bad reason. But looking at what he brings to the table as far as he has range. He's not afraid to go to the basket. Like he draws contact, and he kind of, not to say he reminded me of Cade, but the way that both of them they don't allow defense to speed him up, and that type of poise and floor presence would be something very, very interesting to see if Shaedon turns out to be this like hidden gem that most people see him to be. I still don't know what they're doing with Grant, so obviously a lot of things could change between that pick and who if they have another pick after that. But Sharp started to intrigue me because he could shoot. Defensively, I mean, I feel like he had the ability from a guard perspective. He's taller than the average guy. 6'6" is one tick below, like, I'm trying to think of somebody that's actually like 6'7" that's a shooting guard. I can't think of one right now, but it's like one tick below like the prototypical height that you would want in a shooting guard. So that's what I would see.
Interesting.
All right. Pick 6. Pacers.
I have the Pacers taking AJ Griffin, 3-and-D guy, young, moldable. Also has the ability to, well, potential, I would say, to be a switchable defender with his wingspan, and Pacers need that for sure. I think he's a nice piece to slot in with Tyrese and Chris Duarte.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, quick and to the point right there. Yeah, AJ Griffin.
I have Pacers taking Jaden Ivey. Yeah, I know. They got Duarte. I know who they have guards.
Duarte can't play the 3, or he can't guard the 3 at all.
He has the height for a 3.
Yeah. His defense is at best. I feel like it'd be average.
Well, I mean, it depends on what they got, what they're going to run at the 5. But I did think of that, moving them to the 3. I just like I like an Ivy, Halliburton duo. I certainly like the defense, the way the Pacers play, or presumably will play. I just like the fit. I think they can work around the 3-guard thing. So
I feel that.
He's a decent 3-point shooter too, so that doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Well, I also went with Jaden Ivey for the Pacers. Might have been a little bit of like semi-bias because I think his mom played for the Fever, so I mean I kind of thought like Indiana already kind of he's seen a little bit of Indiana, but yeah, kind of like G said, they could move Duarte up to the 3, similar to like what Chris said with the Pistons. They could get interchangeable with the defensive matchups. You could have Duarte at your 3, switch some things up. Maybe Halliburton guards a little bit of it'd be weird, but they could probably do something with it.
I mean, they could probably have Jade, maybe even Jade play a little 3, possibly. Certainly defensively, he could probably do it.
You're pushing it, man.
I mean, with a little more weight on him, I think maybe.
Everybody go be Marcus Smart.
I'm about to say he got that dog in him. I don't know if he got that giraffe in him. You have to have a growth spurt.
He's 6'4". He's not a midget now.
4 under 200
person.
Threes.
I assume he'll gain some weight before
I mean, it's not like complete barbecue chicken for sure. Don't get me wrong, but with most threes being 6'8" to 6'10", honestly,
it only getting bigger, honestly, because I feel like it's probably pushing to 6'11".
Yeah.
Eventually, at some point, it's gonna be 6'11" at the 3. So
it could it could work. It's worse things for sure. It could work. I wouldn't. I don't know if I would be in love with him doing that, but
He'd probably
I
have to
mean,
have
he's gonna
he'd have to have a
be a player.
Tatum bulk up to be a 3. You get one of those, then yeah.
He had to grow a little bit too.
A little 2 extra inches, probably. Nice, a 3.
Yeah.
Who you?
All right. Pick 7, Trailblazers.
Wait, did PDP say his Pacers pick?
Yeah, Ivy.
Yeah, he said Ivy.
Oh, okay. All right, all right, hear me out. Check it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I have if the Blazers don't, if they stay pat, I get them taking Shaden Sharp,
Damn
guard,
it.
elite size, finishing, playmaking, all that good jazz. Can be a building block, but I don't have them staying pat. I have them trading that pick. They're gonna trade that the 7th pick to the Pistons for Jeremy Grant and some other stuff. And with pick 7, and I even thought about I'm even tentative on this particular trade too because I think it could change. But with pick 7, I have them taking Durant. Durant. So you guys have Cade. You take Jaden Ivey, so you have your backcourt solidified. You have Sadiq Bey, who can be is that 3 for scoring wise. You still got Stu, but Stu's undersized. He can kind of be 4 or even come off the bench to be backup energy center. You take your NBA body, rim protecting, rim running, athletic specimen, Jalen Duran, to pair with, Cade Cunningham and Lob. It turns up to Lob City and 8 Mile, baby.
I like it though. I like it though.
Okay, well, I don't have them trade. I don't have them trading the pick. So,
okay.
I do have Sharp. I do have Sharp as the pick.
Okay, well, I was.
I like the pairing of.
Girls don't
What?
respect me. I wasn't even done. Girls don't respect me.
My bad.
I was trying to. So at first, I was just trying to say that I was gonna have the Pistons trade that pick, or the Blazers trade that pick to the Pistons, and the Pistons trade down because there wasn't going to be any other team to take Durant. But I think when they do that, I think they're really going to go for a center, and Durant is probably the best available there. And the team that they would have to trade down for, in my opinion, or want to trade down, is going to also take a center. So that's all I was going to say.
All right. Well, I have Sharp as the pick. No trade. Like the pairing with Dame. Athletic, explosive, shot creator, finish at the rim. I mean, certainly Portland needs all of that. And if they, I assume Portland's going to keep Simons. I mean, I would assume they will. And I like that trio together. They need young. They need athleticism. They need explosive. They need someone who can finish at the rim. I don't consider him a great shooter, but he's all right. He's solid. So there you go. If he's there, it just makes sense to me. I don't see how he goes any lower than that.
Yeah.
That's fair. Definitely off the ceiling potential and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm kind of with Chris as far as I don't think the Blazers stay put. Preferably, I would want them to trade it to us because I need that pick. But I feel like if they do stay put, kind of going into like how you say like Shaden Sharp would fit. I feel like all the characteristics that Shaden kind of possesses, they have in Simons. Just that Simons is smaller. So for me, I'd have them taking like an AJ Griffin. If he falls this far, he probably won't. Like, it's a lot of shock value probably that could play in like whether he goes to the Kings or not. But I feel like AJ Griffin with his size, shooting ability, he could really slide in next to Lillard and Simons and be the 3 that they probably kind of had in Gary Trent, but they ended up trading him to Toronto. So you end up getting a second chance at getting like your 3-and-D guy and hopefully a building block to go with like Nasir Little when he gets back from injury because he's a nice contrast. I don't think Nasir Little is like a consistent 3-point shooter. So if they stay put, I see them taking AJ Griffin.
All right. Pick 8. Pelicans.
So I had them taking. I'm not in love with this pick. The more I think about it, but I'm gonna stick to it because I made it. I have them taking Ty Washington from Kentucky. Yeah, I just think that the Pelicans need a guard, like a point guard. I know going forward, like Brandon Ingram's gonna have the ball in his hands a lot. CJ's still there, Zion's still there, but I don't know, just I don't think that Alvarado is a starting point guard, and I don't know that guard play at times looks rough. So I think that Ty Washington is probably a good fit there. Um, just because I think they need a more solidified secondary playmaker than CJ. Like CJ can get it done, but I don't think CJ's a scorer. I'm not too high on his secondary playmaking. I think that Tata can play well off the ball. So like he can also fit playing with a Brandon Ingram as well. Um and I also think defensively, I think he's a nice piece. So on a team with CJ and Zion, the ability to be able to play off the ball, but being a secondary playmaker is important. But also bringing some defensive ability on a team that has, quite frankly, two guys that aren't going to be good defenders is a plus. So, yeah.
I can see it.
Okay. I have them taking Agbaji.
Oh,
Ochai.
Mm-hmm.
Or Ochai.
Yep, Ochai. I think it's Ochai, yeah.
Yeah.
If they got a CJ who could run some point, Zion come back healthy, Ingram. I think they basically need like a plug and play 3-and-D wing player who could shoot right out of the gate. I'm not necessarily seeing him as like a multiple time All-Star player. I'm just seeing him as a solid starter, come in and contribute right away. And that makes all the sense to me with this team.
yeah.
He's a 40% 3-point shooter. Plays good defense. You could have CJ play the point for now. He's definitely, he works hard. He'll improve in all areas. He's plug and play. I think it makes sense for them.
Okay. I kind of went out on a limb here, honestly. This was just when I was looking at what they could possibly do, I kept just thinking to myself, like, how can they make this team more versatile than they already are? And hear me out. I have them taking Jeremy Sochan. This Baylor team that they previously had this season was full of forward body, like they had players with forward bodies that showed flashes of guard potential and also still showed potential to guard the ball. Sochan, Big 12, 6th man of the year. So honestly, even if the Pelicans were to draft him, he wouldn't have to start. He would be a very welcoming addition to their bench unit. And he almost averaged 2 assists the last season. Obviously, it's not a lot, but it's something that you can work on if you kind of want to just expand on the height advantage you could possibly have over other teams. He can defend ball. He can defend well. Probably guard ball at some point. He's 6'9". He's 6'9", 230. Once again, could be one of them shock value picks, but I feel like the Pelicans can make that work. You add him in there with a guy like Trey Murphy, good shooter. Herb Jones, that defensive guy that can sprinkle in a little bit of three. Sochan wasn't really that well of a shooter, so I would kind of put the ball in his hands, try to make some shake, attack the rim. yeah, I feel like that could be interesting if they might even trade down. Honestly, to me, they could trade down as well.
All right.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed. Pick 9, the Spurs.
I got the Spurs taking Benedict Mathurin.
That's some
The
on it.
emphasis there.
Hey,
Yeah.
listen. Perfect compliment to play with DeJounte. You know, smart player, athletic. He can shoot. You know what I mean? He's got the length and, to be decent defensively, even if he's not. I mean, he's going to be playing next to DeJounte. So I think he's just a great compliment off guard to play with DeJounte. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I have Jeremy Sochan.
What is going on? Did I miss something?
Hey,
I don't
me
know why.
and Griff's are kind of on the same thing. I like it. I like it.
Why are you taking this man in the top 10? Did I miss it?
Hey, he's a lottery pick.
He's a lottery pick. I think he fits in at the 4 with them. He's more agile than people think. That's what I see. Call me crazy.
He's definitely he's agile for sure. He's got lateral quickness and shit for sure.
Yeah.
Solid mid range, could work on his 3-point shot. Obviously, not a great 3-point shooter. Could work on it.
He can't shoot.
Mid range, good, huh?
He can't shoot.
Yeah, he shot 29% from 3. He'd have to
Yeah,
he'd have to hit
shoot.
the gym heavy.
But given that system, it makes perfect sense to me. I think he fits perfectly with them.
Yeah.
I like it. I see it.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Well, I'm a agree with Chris on this one. I also have the Spurs taking Sir Benedict Mathurin the second.
There we go. Let's go.
Yeah. Basically, the Lonnie Walker experiment hasn't really worked out. I feel like you need his replacement immediately. And plus, I feel like Benedict is, to me, one of the more. He's probably the best perimeter defender in the class to me. That Arizona team was stifling with him and Koloko at times during March Madness, as far as from an on-ball perspective. And you put him in there with a guy like DeJounte, you put him at the 2 or the 3. You have 2 guys that could potentially just take players out of the possession, or at least make it difficult for a player to get into his rhythm. And depending on how they do in free agency, it could determine whether or not, if they take him with that spot, whether he is a 3 or a 2. They could try to get like a Zach LaVine or whatever. But he seems like a Popovich guy, or just a Spurs system guy, where he can shoot. He likes to play defense. You can see it, and it'd be a knock off the park for them.
Respectable.
Fair enough. Okay, pick 10. Excuse me. Pick 10. The Wizards.
I have the Wizards taking Ochai. NBA ready, 3-and-D type of player. Smart, IQ, is gonna work hard, not gonna make mistakes. I think he just on a team that, to me, has the offensive weapons already. They need guys that are gonna be able to, fill in and provide that defense and shooting if need, and then a little bit of extra if need be. They already have Brad, they already have the Kuz train, they already have Porzingis. So.
I had to throw on the Kuz train there, didn't you?
Oh, I absolutely
Yes,
did. Watch this season. The Kuz train was in full effect. I mean, he can definitely be, the third scorer for sure on a good team. So, I mean, hey, man,
Well,
I don't know what else you want me to say, Griff. He was giving buckets all year. You act like you didn't see it. And don't forget about PGP's boy, the eventual MVP of the league.
hey, Mr. Rui, like, hey,
Mr. Lee, exactly, bro. Like you bring in a good solid 3-and-D guy like Ochai who can guard multiple positions, got a crazy wingspan. You know, he's athletic. He'll cut. You know, he'll do all the good stuff that you need. You know, you need those types of players, man. It's perfect fit. Perfect fit. Especially for a team whose defense has been just bad for some years now. So
yeah.
definitely needed.
Well,
Hmm.
guess that kind of poo-poos my pick then.
He took off.
I went with Matherin.
Hmm.
I mean, he has, you know, he can be good defensively for sure.
Yeah. We'll have to work on it to defend NBA players, but I think he's good enough defensively.
I mean, he has the
Another
size,
shooter.
like
Another
he
sh-
has the length to like be able to switch for sure. At
yeah.
least like 1 through 3 for sure.
Mhm. Uh, you know, good shooter. He's got the length. Pause. Um,
Well, what I'm asking you though is what he's coming off the bench, right?
probably at first, yeah.
Who's the point? Would you have him? Who would be the point? Who's running the show? Or I guess would you just have Brad?
Probably, yeah, Brad. If he stays. I mean,
I mean,
I'm not gonna try to predict like free agency trades in this. I
I
didn't want
think
to get too deep into that.
I think now he stayed through the worst of it. You know what I mean? I think he's gonna stay now. Like
Probably.
the year before Russ got there, and then this year is probably the worst of it. They have high picks. They got Porzingis and Kuz. If those two can get healthy and they can make that work, I mean, it's
Yeah.
not saying it's a great team, but it's good enough to be competitive, for sure. So
Yeah.
if they make the right pick on this draft pick and it hits, I could definitely see them fighting for a playoff spot. Well, I mean, shit, they already were, if I'm not mistaken. They kind of,
Oh yeah, beginning of the season they were rolling.
yeah, they kind of slowed down heavy, but they were still, I think, in decent position to get a playoff spot, right? No,
Uh,
no, they're pretty,
they
no,
they
they're
they
pretty far.
yeah they started falling down after a certain period. I think
Yeah,
after Beal
they're,
got hurt, they started falling down.
they're pretty far out. But I mean, Brad, hey, I can see it.
Yeah. I kind of went with a little something different. I got the Wizards taking Johnny Davis. Um, I feel like they need a little bit of excitement in Washington. They haven't had excitement out of the guard position since John Wall in the early stages. You know, when he was dancing and whatnot, banging on people, doing his thing. Um, Johnny ain't finna. I don't think he banging on people, but Johnny is a. I feel like he's a dynamite scorer. Can get you some buckets in a hurry. Defensively, I feel like he's underrated. He really gets into it. Might not look the best, but he's gonna give it his all on the defensive end.
He's
And
got a
he
6'9" wingspan, so
oh he's very he's got that freakish wingspan that a NBA team would want. Looking at the Wizards, it's like you could slide him in at the one. Defensively, might not be the most like scary backcourt of him and Beal, but Johnny gonna hold his own. And then you still got guys like Denny, who the jury's still out. He could probably be your guard at some point, so maybe Johnny plays the two, a little bit just to really amplify his scoring ability. But I feel like that could be a potential pick that they would be able to knock out the park. It gives them a lot more. It makes them a more dangerous backcourt on the offensive end because Beal can get his bucket, he can get you 30. A guy like Davis, if he gets cooking, also has the potential to be like high 20s, low 30 type of guy. I can see that working out well for them.
okay.
Hmm. Okay. Next
That's
up, we got pick 11 and the New York Knicks.
The New York
Yep.
Knickerbockers.
I got the Knicks taking Dyson Daniels.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna say it yet, but he could.
What did you say? What did you say that for?
I'm not gonna say anything. It'll be funny once he gets to me.
Do you have Dyson Daniels?
Maybe.
All right. Anyway, so I got the Knicks taking Dyson Daniels. The Knicks haven't had like a young guard that's successful, in my opinion, in a while. You know, they take
Hmm.
they took Frank. They had Derrick Rose for a while, but that wasn't nothing. I just Dyson comes in. He plays kind of his own pace. He's got some great potential defensively. Uh, Smart basketball player, savvy. Kind of like I said, kind of plays at his own pace. And the Knicks need a lead guard. I think that the best way for the Knicks to go forward is to find somebody who can be the lead guard, and then slot RJ Barrett into like the secondary ball handler role, secondary ball handler slash scorer. I feel like that's where he'll succeed the best. I don't think RJ is really the main facilitator on a good team. So I feel like you get this guy who I'm not gonna like kind of gives me like some Lonzo Ball with a little bit more like dribble wiggle. That's kind of what I get from him. You know what I mean?
He is
Same
shifty.
size. Yes, yeah, same size. Defensive potential is still there. Shooting it coming in is kind of iffy. I feel like the comparisons are really there. Like honestly, I really feel like they're very similar. But I like what he has, like you said, with the ball in his hands at this point already a little bit more than Lonzo. Lonzo came in without really wiggle to his dribble. And that's kind of still kind of been the knock on his game because he's not really that offensive threat as far as attacking that you would want him to be, because that would open up him as a playmaker immensely. Like that would change the game for him. So yeah, Dyson Daniels, New York.
Okay. Well, I am going with Nikola Jovic.
Oh wow.
Wow. Okay, he's jumping hella spots. Okay. Hella
Uh,
spots.
you know, I think Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle as a 4-5, one or both of them probably going to be gone. I when I thought of this, I anticipated one of the two of them going to be gone. Um, Jovic has the height to play either position. A little small for center, but I mean he's 6'10", he could do it, or play at the four. Um, he
He
can
will
score it all. He
center
can,
and get
he
more
can
field.
well, uh, he can score 3 levels. He definitely could use some improvement on the defensive end, but offensively gifted, and they could certainly, use an offensively gifted big. So
Yeah.
I'm like I said, I did that with some anticipation, figuring the Randall Mitchell kind of front court. That's not gonna the Robinson front court. That's not gonna stay. So
Hmm. I
Gotcha.
mean, I don't know. Before I even do it, I thought that'd be tough though, because in most of his highlights, he's operating. Like there's no give and go. He's running the floor. I think he plays shooting guard overseas too at some point.
He's more of a three, he's not really. He's 6'10", but he's not really.
Yeah.
He's a
he's a
wing.
little light. He's a
When
little light. Yeah, he's a
he's
little
athletic,
light.
the way he plays, he's like the way I thought he was more of a wing.
Yeah, but I say he's definitely like a. He's big, but he definitely played a lot of guard overseas or facilitation
Knicks need
roles.
that. They don't really matter. They need everything, to
Oh,
be
they,
honest.
they
I
definitely they definitely need
mean,
a
I
lot
mean,
of them.
positional versatility certainly isn't something
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Plus, how many guys in the league, if that does happen, can say that they're running a 6'10" shooting guard? I don't think that's or a six. Like who can really say that honestly?
Or George, probably it was it. If when Kawhi's healthy, that's probably it.
Yeah,
And maybe KD back in the day.
might a little bit. Yeah. Well, there's another pick that me and Chris agreed on. I also had the Knicks taken, Mr. Dyson Daniels from the Ignite. Um, yeah, they really do need a for sure ball handler because I feel like Quickly's more of a bucket getter. So him in a dynamo role. Well, he's pretty good defensively too, sometimes. But him coming off the bench and like a little spark role could be good for them. Not really sure what they're gonna do with their front court because this is kind of really up in the air. But if they could for sure lock up the future backcourt with a guy like Dyson and RJ, and have it to where RJ is more of in like kind of like a setup role to get to the basket rather than him having to read the floor and play like full on guard. I think that could be pretty well for them. He has the height, 6'6", 6'6", 6'7", probably. I think. Um, yeah, shooting definitely probably does need to be worked on. Still kind of rounding out his own game, but it adds a little bit of intrigue that they haven't really had in a while. So.
Hmm. Okay. Pick 12. The Thunder again.
Yeah, the Thunder need a center that's going to be able to help out Chet Holmgren and actually bang because that ain't going to be Chet. I got them taking Mark Williams, 7'7" or 7 feet with 7'7" wingspan.
That's
Shot
crazy.
blocking bangs the life out of people. You pair that. I like the pairing with you got Shea, you got Josh Giddey, capable passers, getting him the ball, finding him those lobs, those easy finishes, and then you can show up your defense with him as well. Also, I like the ability of like Chet can pass, so like the idea of getting some big on big passing for sure is also good as well.
Like it.
Okay. I guess I'm just gonna be the different one the whole fucking time here. But all right. Um, I went with Tari Eason.
You said Eason?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Scores it all. He scores it all three. He scores at all three levels. Um, Decent 3-point shooter. Obviously, could pick that up. I mean, 36% isn't terrible. Um, Versatile defender. Defend multiple positions. At least what I see. Maybe I'm wrong. I am old. Um, and you know what? And you know, probably a little undersized for a 4, but maybe it could be a
I mean, a
you know.
bit, but his wingspan is ridiculous.
Yeah,
So that's
Yeah.
why.
I'm gonna give you a weird comp here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he reminds me of Trez if Trez could shoot.
Hmm. I probably have to see a little bit more of him to see it.
A little bit. I like he kind of like the motor grit, like tough player. He kind of gives me a little bit of Montrezl Harrell vibes if Montrezl could shoot.
Hmm. I ain't gonna. That is very
Might
different
be
though.
might be a hot take. I don't know.
Yeah,
Just
that is very different. uh, well, now this is barring if anything doesn't happen with the Blazers pick and everything just goes copacetic. I feel like the Thunder take Jalen Duren. It's crazy seeing him drop this far potentially, but I mean it's a lot of teams that I feel like have to fill their holes. But throwing him onto a team like the Thunder, where almost a good majority of their players from the 4 down have shown like they want to shoot the ball in some capacity. You put a guy in there that is freakishly like has good strength, freakish bounce potentially, um, just in there as like that inside enforcer that blocks shots, bangs on the block. It's a good contrast, and you got guys like Giddy get him to his spots. Shea pairing that with a Jabari, that's an interesting front court if Jalen falls that low. I can see that definitely being a team in the future.
Hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't even necessarily say it's a fall. It's just not many team. That's probably
It's probably where he's
the first
projected.
team that needs a center past
Yeah,
the first, past the top.
yeah.
I mean, I had Jalen going to them if the Pistons didn't trade that pick. So yeah, and then so since he's gone, they took the next best thing, which would have been Mark.
Yeah, I definitely like
Huh.
at least two centers will be taken at the bottom of the lottery. I definitely can see that.
All right. Pick 13, the Hornets.
Uh, Johnny Davis? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? I mean, yeah, they have an abundant amount of forwards, but he's a cheaper option. Young gives him defensive potential with his wingspan. Um, I mean, really that's about it. I mean, well, I mean, he's not even really. I think he could play like forward because of the wingspan,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess he's probably a guard, probably off ball or two. Hmm. I don't know. It's really tough. I'm not really sure what the Hornets would do or what they're doing or even necessarily what they need. I mean, I probably if I thought about it, I would probably say that they need like another actual shot maker, which is what Johnny can do for them. But I don't know. It's tough. I don't think Lamelo is there as a shot maker at this point. Um, and yeah, Bridges did take a step forward, but I don't know. I'm not sure what they're gonna do. They might even trade the picks. I don't know, but that's what I got right now.
Hmm.
I'm giving them Duran. One thing that's clearly a need for them is center.
That's fair. That's
Yeah, I
fair.
can see
Uh,
that, man.
He ain't there on my list.
I mean, yeah. I mean, and you know, he certainly plays defense, shot blocker, rim runner. I mean, he could use a little bit of polish on his offensive game, but certainly on the other side of it, absolutely a need for Charlotte. Makes it perfect fit there. So
Yeah.
they were severely lacking in that aspect. So made total sense to me.
Yeah. Well, I also had them taking center. Um, I have them taking Mark Williams. Like you said earlier, 7'7" wingspan, going stupid. Uh, Gives them more leeway to take PJ Washington away from the center position forever if they keep him. But they're kind of another team that's kind of a situation where with the amount of outside shooters that they have, they need like a good enough balance between like actual paint presence that's like opposing. So I think they had Plumlee last year, I believe, and I don't think anybody was fearing Plumlee on the
Yeah, I
interior.
mean, they had Plumlee, and then when he got hurt, they were running PJ at the
Yeah,
center.
yeah. So they really lost like well, at least with last year they lost like some sort of like paint presence at all. But if they take like a Mark Williams, a guy that gets after it, they'll for sure have a center of the future.
And the last lottery pick, Cleveland Cavaliers.
Mm. I don't know. I really don't. I really don't have a pick for them. I
You
mean,
want me to go first?
yeah,
Huh?
go first. I'll think on it.
Um, I have the Cavs taking Malachi Branham. Um,
The shooter.
efficient offense, yeah, efficient offensively. Uh, uh, good shooter. They could certainly use another scorer, especially if Sexton goes, which I assume he will. Um, I kind of get who. I gotta think. Give me a second here. I kind of think watching what I mean. I didn't watch a ton of tape on him, admittedly, because obviously I'm not UPTP. I admit I don't watch a lot of tape on people. But what I did see, because I did watch some, he's giving me a little bit of Malik Monk, I guess. Kind of
I can
a
see it.
little bit of comp Malik Monk. They can certainly use another scorer, especially if the injuries happen. They could definitely another scorer. I like it.
Okay, that's fair. All right, well, I figured out who I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take a flyer. A flyer.
Mm-hmm.
A flyer. I'm taking Patrick Baldwin Jr. Lori Marketing, get your ass out of here. Make way. I mean, hey, Patrick, hey, that's a 6'10" bucket right there, man. I mean, yeah, he had a rough season, but I mean, he was at Milwaukee, so we're just gonna ignore that. He could end up being a steal, honestly. I mean, I feel like with the Cavs, I like their backcourt with Garland, LeVert. I mean, and obviously your front court, well, the 4 and the 5, you got obviously Allen and Mobley. So that 3 spot, I feel like is really the spot. I mean, I don't see Laurie as a foundational piece, or even like the other players that they have. What's the other guy? Okoro? Is that the other one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of their forwards.
Yeah. I think you take Patrick Baldwin, who has that crazy offensive upside. Because I mean, even though like I said, I like to keep the Cavs roster. I wouldn't say that like those guys slot in to be like amazing offensive players. Like they're good, but like I wouldn't say that any of them, besides I guess Garland, is like, you know, like an offensive. You know what I mean? Like I like just a straight bucket. You know, and I feel like Patrick can be that for sure. So sure, take a flyer on Patrick Baldwin. Kind of a overdraft, but hey,
Yeah.
tease with the tease.
Really different picks. I really thought there would have been a lot more agreement than what we'd had, but
You know me, Grant. I'm all over the place. I'm doing homework all day, every day.
hey, wait a minute now. I wasn't exactly like chalking picks here now. Come on.
Like,
Boy,
yeah.
you boys taking Jeremy Sochan a drunk.
Hey, hey, when Jeremy, I ain't gonna say he's gonna be an all-star, but when Jeremy's going stupid in the league,
Not gonna be an all-star.
he gonna be going
I feel
stupid.
I feel very comfortable. Unless he turns into Kawhi Leonard, he's not going to be an
Hey,
all-star.
I'm on the Sochan bandwagon, but
Man, if he turns into OG, that would be past his potential. Defensively, he's going to be really nice for sure.
yeah,
But I just don't see. Yeah, I don't see it.
yeah. I mean, he could be a jack of all trades, at least to me, at least. But for Cleveland, I had a head scratcher moment because I didn't know what they needed. This starting lineup that they had at one point even confused me further because they had Larry Markin at a small forward position. But I'm gonna go with Ousmane Jang. 6'10".
I thought about him.
Yeah, like 6'10", small. I think might be a power forward, potentially a small forward. 6'10", played in Australia. Potential as a shooter could be there. I mean, 3-point wise, he shot like 27%. I mean, it's not the greatest, but it's workable. I mean, he's shooting the ball, so I mean that could work out. But I feel like it's one of them pieces where, once again, it kind of moves marketing out of the starting role and probably back in a position that he's actually like probably a little bit more comfortable in, which would be like power forward.
Trade him.
But they could trade him too, but
Because he's not going to start on that team at the 4 and 5.
yeah.
Maybe I guess you could bring him off the bench, but
Yeah, but I feel like he would probably get thrown into a bench unit. I don't think bench wise they have a big body when Jared or Evan sit down. But yeah, I feel like Ousmane has potential. Being 6'10", I think he even Averaged 1.9 assists. Shows he got a little bit of court vision. Probably could work on his rebounding a little bit more because being 6'10" with averaging like only 3 rebounds a game. I don't think he played that many games, but that's just something he could probably work on. He definitely seems like more of a scorer, which is why I kind of set it like a 3, just so Evan and Jared can handle the bulk. They get the board, throw it out to him on a fast break, whatever. I'm not sure if he's projected to be a lottery, but if the Cavs are looking to just make them move a little bit faster on all aspects of the court, plug Usman at the 3.
Okay, that's it. That makes sense. What?
I just feel like when you said it, that just means Griff doesn't agree.
No, I get the logic. I'm not disagreeing.
Well, me and PTB had the same logic.
Yeah.
Technically,
get marketing out the lineup in some way.
I mean, Usman and Patrick both 6'9", scoring wings. I think Usman is definitely has probably more of a ball handling kind of aspect to him.
Yeah. Definitely probably has a better paint presence between the two, I would say.
Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts before we close it out?
In the full mock, Young Jung Lee will be drafted. I'm letting you know that right now. Some capacity, I'm fitting him in here.
Wow.
I'm
so some team we gonna get him in there.
Hey, I don't know if it's 30 or 25. He's taken. Somebody getting taken.
Chris, any final thoughts?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Well, that closes another episode of the podcast. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Going for Three Podcast. Where can they follow you, fine gentlemen, on social media?
Follow me at Chris G. Collins on Instagram and Twitter.
Follow me on Twitter at PTP_99.
And you can follow me at Tony the Real on Twitter. So that concludes this episode. We thank you all for listening. Make sure you follow on all the podcast where you get all your podcast goodness. Yet again, follow our YouTube channel. We will be posting content. I know we say that every week, and we've been slacking on that, but we will start posting some content on there for you all to enjoy. And with that, stay blessed, everyone, and we will see you next week.